What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Venice Antoinette.
And Amber Monique.
Here with another episode of
Sip and Spill.
On this show, we sip on drinks while spilling the tea on dating and relationships. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Also, make sure you follow us on social media at sipandspills. That's at SIPANDSPILLS across all social media. Now, let's get started.
24 seconds and you better not stop. You got 24 seconds, can't you beat the shot clock? What you waiting for, little daddy? I ain't got that much time. You seem anxious, you seem adamant, but you ain't pressed my line. Wondering why? No, you ain't shy. I'ma say bye. Better know I won't think twice. Better let go of your pride.
Okay, Amber, so what are we talking about today?
All right, today we are talking about how these new No More Toxic Relationship t-shirts inspired us. It's a new t-shirt that came out and it says no more toxic friendships, no more toxic relationships, no more toxic thoughts, only toxic by Brittney Spears. So
that was my jam back in the day. Let me just say that.
That was jam. It was pop. It was.
That was my ish.
It was. But basically it made us think about like how toxic relationships are so prevalent, and we feel especially in our generation, and we're going to talk about toxic relationships and how to be no more toxic relationship friendly.
Perfect. So let's just dive right in. What are oh man, I feel like this is such a perfect time to talk about this, because this isn't too far out after that viral meme went around of toxic men and toxic women in relationships. You saw that on the Shade Room?
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm not even gonna hold you. When I saw the toxic women, I was like, dang, I definitely fit a few of these categories.
I think I could be probably toxic to myself, but maybe when I was in a toxic relationship, I see the toxic things I could have done, even though I was with a toxic partner.
Right. But, so did you fit any of the toxic ones that they listed out?
I mean, I didn't think so as of now, but tell me what you think, because maybe I'm not properly diagnosing myself.
Okay, so I'll say definitely for me, I fit the the heartless girl and the curve queen. Those are my two definites. Okay. I feel like you were definitely curve queen. Let me pull up the other ones. Give me a second. Because that couldn't have been your only one.
I don't even know if I'm a curve queen. I mean, I guess I could be. But I don't even like to get in the space where I have to curve people. I think I'm toxic to myself because I stay so
I bet I had to go grab my phone. What'd you say?
Yeah. No, I said I think that I'm toxic more to myself because I don't even put myself in spaces to curve people. I don't even like to have to do that. So I don't know.
Amber, you curve everybody. Let us not act like
curve people that I don't. Curving somebody I don't know is different from curving somebody that I built a relationship with.
How is that curving if you built a relationship with them? That's not curving at that point. See, you're just making up rules. You're just saying anything. She's talking about how do you curve somebody that you built a relationship with,
Amber? I guess you're right. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. You had to curve them in order for them to not build that relationship.
But I don't go out and meet people just to curve them. Maybe I curve people that I could have chosen to get to know. But I don't start texting somebody just to curve them.
Okay.
But that could still be toxic to myself.
Well, I mean, okay. For the curve girl, it says great personality and fun. No one ever knows who they've ever dated. Barely replies to texts. Always busy when you want to hang out. We should link.
I mean,
I feel like you fit all of that except for we should link. I feel like that's definitely you.
Okay, all right.
That is 100% you. I'm the one who includes the we should link. So I know my toxicity.
Okay, we're both that. We're both that. I'll accept
right.
that.
For Heartless Girl, I definitely fit this one. Only hits you up at night. Well, no, I don't only hit you up at night, but acts like the homie when y'all are out. That's definitely me. Known to pop up with a new man if things get shaky. I don't think that's me. Emotional, but that's none of your business. That's me. 200 unread text. That's definitely me.
Yes,
currently
that's
I'm
absolutely
at 263. You. So that is 100%.
That's you for sure.
Let me see. I'm trying to go through these real quick. I feel like you fit a little bit of the insecure girl. Not that I think you're insecure, but just by definition.
What's the definition?
Zooms in on all the girls in your pictures. I can absolutely see you doing that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if I do, not if you don't matter to me, but
yeah, but this is like in relationship.
Okay,
stuff.
yes, yeah,
right.
Yeah,
absolutely. They go through your phone.
Absolutely.
You.
Absolutely.
Automatically hates every girl around you.
That's not me. That's not me.
Okay.
That's not me. Only if you've given me reason. Like if you've made it obvious that you have dealt with the person, I'm not gonna hate her, but I'm not gonna trust what's going on. That's only reasonable.
Pressed about whose pics you're liking. Don't you even sit here and fraud like that doesn't bother you. Yeah. Don't you even sit here and lie.
That bothers me. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, that bothers me.
And the last one, I don't get along with girls, but I don't think that fits you.
No, that's not me.
Yeah. So I think both of us are curve queen. I'll own Heartless Girl. Well, parts of it, because I don't think I fit every description, but I fit enough of them. And I think you fit enough of the insecure girl.
I guess, but I don't think I'm insecure. I think I just want respect.
You're definitely not insecure, but you definitely fit those toxic
levels. I would agree.
But yeah, back to the t-shirt.
Back to the t-shirt. So, I mean, I guess we could start with identifying how we could not be toxic in relationships rather than point out.
Like, texting Negroes back.
I think that's unfair to call us toxic.
I'm gonna start texting guys back.
I don't think we have to do that.
When I say we should link, I'll actually link.
Okay, yeah, I think that could be.
Amber, I do not see you just getting into a relationship and not going through your dude's phone. Like, I don't see that changing.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would, but I can agree that I could see how it's not good. Like, I know when I've done it before, when I felt the need to, it was just because I was in a toxic relationship and I knew there was stuff in there there could be stuff in there that shouldn't be. But I think if you're not in a toxic relationship, you shouldn't feel the need to do that. And maybe you're not in a toxic relationship, but you still that could be toxic, you wanting to do it, period. Like, I know I would feel invaded, somebody always going through my phone because I'm not doing anything. Even though I've had it done before, it still feels like, well, what do you think of me, you know? So I could aim at not doing that in the future. Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. I guess I can stop. I'm lying. I'm gonna sit here and hold y'all. I was about to say I could stop being that person that's like, we should link and then not link up. I mean, I could. That is a good thing to do. I just don't see myself actively doing that. Like,
I mean,
it's like when I send, like, my intention is always good. Like, I don't send like, oh, we should link with the intention of not linking.
Oh, well, that's different.
But I understand why somebody would take that as a curve, because
it's like, well, when? Like,
right, because I mean, I'm not going fraud. I am busy a lot. Like, I'm in grad school. We got sip and spill going on. Yeah. And then I'm like working also. Like, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on in my life. And the same with you. You got a full-time job. We got sip and spill going on. You're running a boutique. Like,
it's a lot.
You know, we got a lot of stuff going on. So it's not like I'm like, we should link and then I'm frauding about being busy. Like, No, I'm actually busy.
It's true. It's true. I guess you could only say that to the people that you're willing to, like, at that moment, carve out time for. I guess, if we're looking, but I understand how it happens because I've probably done it before as well. I know that I have, not like a lot, but I know that I have. So, yeah, we could both work at that.
Right.
Like, let me look at when I'm free, and if I can't see when I'm free in the foreseeable future, I won't say let's link or we should link. I should just, like, you know, keep it cute.
Yeah. Yeah. With the heartless thing though, I definitely fit that, and I feel like how I can improve on that is my 200 unread text messages. I'm not gonna hold you. If you fall in that 200, don't expect me to go back and read it, because like I said, I'm at 266 right now, and it stresses me out at the thought of having to go back and read those. But moving forward, I can do better at making sure I at least read the messages, you know?
At least read them. So you don't
at least read
does
them.
Does it warrant a response? Was somebody in need of help?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I'm going to respond to every text I get, because if you are able to respond to every text you get, God bless you. I'm not that human being. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody and tell them that. However, I will at least read it, because I feel like a lot of the text that I didn't read warranted a response. It's just because I didn't read them, I didn't respond.
Well, at least you know it though. So,
and then what else fit under heartless? Oh yeah, I'm emotional, but that's none of your business. That's definitely me, and I need to work on that of being more like vocal with my emotions.
Is that something we need to work? Because I feel like I could fit that as well, but not everybody needs to know my emotions.
Well, not everybody, but like, you know, like, because this is talking about relationships, like toxic in relationships. So I feel like that's worthy, you know, fixing. Like if I'm at the point where I'm like, you know, that deep with you, where we're like, you know, if we're not in a relationship, we're working towards that at least. I feel like I could be more open about my emotions.
I know I could. That's true.
Because I can easily, like, it's funny actually, because with my ex sometimes, like, I feel like he learned sometimes about my emotions through this show from like listening and watching it. Because on this mic, I feel so comfortable just talking about anything. Yeah. But like when it comes to like the person I'm with or the person I'm dating, like I'm just like, I'm emotionless.
Yeah, and I think we see
I'm nonchalant.
I think we see it as like having one up, like, all right, well, I feel this way, but I don't need to let him know that. But at the end of the day, like, people can only deal off of what you tell them. Like, if you're at your breaking point because of something they don't even realize that they're doing, you know, you can't totally fault them if they don't mean any ill intent. So, yeah, I guess I can agree. I could do the same.
And a prime example of that is like when I came on here and talked about when I got stood up. I never expressed to the guy how I felt, but he definitely listened to this episode when I aired him out. And he felt some type of way. And that's understandable. Oh. So let's go through the men's toxic partners.
Yes. Okay, we got on
because I feel like I dated a few of these.
Absolutely.
So you have the good guy. He posts every accomplishment, does volunteer work just to post on social media. He's entitled, poor communication skills, females never like good guys anymore, and he's a guilt tripper. Have you dated a good guy, as they call them?
I haven't, but I've known them. And
yeah, I've known them. I don't think I've dated one.
That is like,
I think we all have dated this next one. The player has 5 women in love with him right now. The way they roll right now.
Yes.
Always says the right thing. Calls all women love, but and then in quote it says, "But we're not even together though." And then it says, "Social media famous." Phone is always on silent. I don't feel like I ever dated someone I consider social media famous, because it actually I don't really like guys who are into social media like that.
Me neither. Yeah, I never dated anyone who's social media famous. I never dated anyone who called me love like all the time before we were together or anything like that. Okay. But I think like I know the type that they're trying to portray. Yeah. And yeah.
I would say I dated. I wasn't in a relationship per se with somebody like who fit all of these, but I've dated someone who was like this. Like,
and it is toxic because they got a lot of things going on, and a lot of those people probably feel like it's very serious, and they make you feel like it's very serious, but it's really not.
This next one, I for a fact have dated. The inconsistent guy.
Yeah.
Text back late. Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, there it goes. Text back late, seems super interested, then disappears because of quote unquote life.
Yes.
Always has an amazing personality. Probably still entertaining his ex.
Yes.
And then it says in stars, 3 months later, he sends a text, "Hey, I hope all is well." I have absolutely dated this one.
Absolutely. I think we all have. And I think
I've dated that one a few times.
The whole thing about entertaining the ex, I feel like that's what it's all about. Like that's why they disappear. That's why like they're only like in and out. And it's toxic because they do have a good personality. They make you feel like, oh, he could be great. But he's basically emotionally unavailable because his heart belongs to his ex.
Facts. Next one I definitely have dated as well. The no initiative guy.
Yeah.
It says in quotes, "When I'ma see you."
Yeah.
Facts. Then it says calls and texts often but never plans anything. Facts. Has to feel your quote unquote vibe first before taking you out. I don't know if I agree with that in the sense of like the dudes I have in mind. Probably has a girlfriend on the low. Facts. And then in quote, "You be playing." Facts.
We all know that person.
Facts. Like,
I wouldn't even say I dated that person, but I think we've all like been on the brink of like dating that person or something like that.
Well, I guess it's what you define as dating. Like, I've never been in a relationship with that person, but I've definitely dated someone like that before. Like,
I've known someone like that before. Thought about dating someone like that before.
Yeah. Next, the insecure guy. Quote unquote, "Y'all females be too friendly. Clocks your outfits, misogynistic, hates all your friends, starts fights every time you have plans."
I've never dated
someone like that, but I definitely know someone like that.
Yeah, I know friends that have dated people like that. I've never dated someone like that, but that's super whack.
The emotionally draining guy. Expressing your feelings always turns into an argument. Post emotional memes on social media. Thinks any tweet with 100 is a word. And then the quote unquote, "Wow."
I've definitely heard that. Wow. Like when they basically have nothing else to say.
I definitely know some people like this. I never dated one, but I definitely know a few. Like,
what was the first one again? So I heard the 100%.
The first one. It said expressing your feelings always turns into an argument.
I can't say no. I've dated that person exactly. I'm familiar with the wow, but I know people who have dated that person probably.
Facts. The Netflix and chill guy.
Oh God.
Never plans anything outside of the house. Always wants you to drive to him. Mainly hits you up after 9 p.m.
Ooh.
Possibly on house arrest.
Lord.
Always ask, "Can I hold your car?"
Oh.
So yeah, I don't think that I have dated this, but I definitely have heard of this one before.
I haven't dated this one, but I know how they could be charming and like, make you feel like that is worth it. But
right. No. Facts. So like, is there a way to like pick up on these things to avoid them?
I guess kind of like all the bullet points they listed out, like look for those. Not to say every bullet point means.
Well, like, yeah, I mean a lot of them are jokes too.
Right. But if it all aligns, that could possibly be toxicity, or if it's a way that like it's causing stress. A person is causing stress in your life and making you question your choices and yourself. That's probably toxic. What do you think?
If you read any of these and somebody immediately comes to mind, right. Cut them out your life immediately. Okay? Like, immediately. Like, don't even bother.
They spelled it all out for you.
Right.
And if you notice these signs in yourself, we did that, and think about how you could change them. We're not
exempt. That's true. Because, I mean, toxicity is not just a male trait. It's a lot of toxic females out here.
It's true. We all, and even if you're not toxic, maybe you can have toxic traits or toxic things you bring from past toxic relationships.
Facts. So back to these t-shirts. What I love about these t-shirts is that it's creating a movement of positivity. And it's telling people, like, you don't need to accept this toxicity in your life. And specifically, we'll talk about the no more toxic relationships. And I feel like I can only speak from the women's perspective, but I know that this is something that happens for both men and women. We have like a fear of being alone or a fear of not, getting married or different things of that nature. So we accept a lot of toxic behavior from people that don't deserve our time, our energy, or any of that. And I feel like this whole movement of like no more toxic friendships, no more toxic relationships, no more toxic thoughts is just, I love it. I really love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I even like how it expands, like toxic thoughts, toxic friendships. 100%. Like we could even be toxic to ourselves, or thinking that you have to hold down a certain type of relationship so that, like you said, people don't want to be lonely. That's toxic in itself. And I like the fact that it's bringing awareness to the fact that these thoughts are toxic, and so people can be proud not to be toxic anymore.
Facts. Like, and I love that they put "Toxic" by Brittney Spears on there. Like, because I'm not gonna hold you, I was that little like preteen black girl that knew every word to every Brittney Spears song that ever came out. The first album that I ever learned from start to finish was Brittney Spears.
Really?
Yes, that was lit. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I think it was Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. But after that, it was definitely Brittney Spears.
Wow. When I think of that toxic, I think of being in 6th grade on the bus, like them playing after school on their way home. That's so whatever you think of. That's so funny. How time flies.
Right. And like, I feel like it's so freeing to free yourself from like dealing with toxic behaviors and being aware of what toxic behaviors are. Like, not even in just because what I love about this t-shirt is it's not just relationships, it's also friendships and thoughts. And I feel like your thoughts are where toxicity starts in your life. And then I think friendships is also a huge key, and that kind of builds into the relationships that you attract.
Yeah, no, I totally agree 100%. Like it makes you realize, I think it's more powerful if we all could notice the toxic traits in ourselves, then there wouldn't be toxic relationships. So, and like you said, toxicity starts by toxic thoughts, I think. Like if you think, oh, I'm not good enough, he probably wants other girls, or I'm not good enough, she probably wants other guys. Like that's a toxic thought. Like why are you thinking you're not good enough? Obviously the person who's with you thought, they should think that you're good enough. So maybe if you get that insecurity out of your head, you could think about maybe, not being so insecure and things like that.
Facts.
So, yeah.
And I feel like for me, at least, like I'm in a mental space where I'm so happy and content with myself that like for somebody to come into my life in that relationship or that dating space, they would just have to add value or make me feel as good as I feel on my own. And I feel like everyone should go like experience that. And I know that's not realistic to be like everyone in the world should, whatever. But I do truly believe that
It could be,
before
though.
you are committed to somebody or things of that nature, you need to ensure that you're happy with yourself, that you know your self-worth, that you're content with being by yourself. Because then, like, when I tell people, I had this conversation earlier today, actually, my tolerance for men is so low. I mean, it's low. And part of that is because I'm so happy and content with myself that if you do something that like completely turns me off or completely rubs me the wrong way, or like, you know what I mean? Like, or that I pick up as toxic behavior or is like, concerning to me, I can so quickly just cut that out because I don't need that type of energy in my life. Now, not saying that I'm looking for like somebody who's perfect. It's just, I don't need somebody you need to approach me the right way.
Like, and that's how it should be. Like, you shouldn't, I know some people probably feel like, they excuse things because it's like, oh, well, he probably did this because like, I'm not good enough in this area. Like, no, think of yourself as a total package. You should more so be thinking, I don't need to deal with this because I am this. Not like it's looking to excuse other people's behavior. So, no, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and I feel like that is so important to having a healthy relationship because when you're not happy with yourself, you accept a lot of things that are toxic.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
feel like you need to be happy within yourself to ensure that you don't allow those type of behaviors so that you don't end up being miserable, so that you don't end up with somebody who doesn't respect you or treat you the way that you truly deserve to be treated. Because when you love yourself and you understand your self-value and your self-worth, you're going to treat yourself at a certain level that if somebody doesn't meet that or, enhance that, they're not even going to be worth your time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So do you think, like a thought that I hear people say a lot, do you think that the thought, oh, I'm going to die alone is a toxic thought or a toxic fear, I guess I should say?
Yes. In the sense of, I think it's, actually, no, I don't think that's it depends. Like, it's just, I mean, know.
I don't want this to sound like dark, but like, I'm not like the fact of like, oh, I could be alone when I die. Like, not to say like I don't care about people or you know what I mean? Like relationships or anything like that. But it's like, okay. Like,
I literally had the same thought. I'm so glad you said that because I didn't want to be the first one to say that, but I had the literal same thought. And I was like, I'd actually be content with being by myself.
Like, I would so much rather be by myself than with a person that like dishonors me, disvalues me, brings negativity. I would so much rather be by myself because I feel when I'm alone, I don't have any of that. Not to say, I feel like you need to find the right relationships, and if you don't have those, it is better to be alone. That's my thought.
No, I 100% agree with you, like 100%, because like that's exactly how I feel. Like it's like I'm so content and happy with myself that it's like I would much rather die alone than be miserable just so that I can say I had somebody. And I see so many people in the generations before us who are so miserable in their marriages and their relationships and whatever they're with because they felt like, oh, I have to be married in order to be successful, or I have to have this, and I don't feel those needs.
No, I mean, I know it like things are economically different now, so we can comfortably say that or whatever, but like on an emotional standpoint, like I totally feel that. Like if I don't like, of course I would love to find, an equal and a partner and a husband and everything like that. But if I didn't, I'm not just going to get with the first guy on the corner so I don't have to die alone. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Like 100%. Yeah, like, and even like, because I agree with you, it's economic difference, but even if you take economics out of it, there's even people who grew up with money and it was just the mindset during their generation or during that time that like a woman isn't considered successful unless she's married and has kids. And I don't feel that, like, I'd love to have children.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
me
saying?
too.
Like, even if I didn't get married, I probably would still adopt just because I want kids. But at the same time, I don't feel the necessity to get married. I would love to get married, but it would have to fit. Like,
right, exactly.
Like, I don't want to. I'm, like I said, and I feel like both of us are in this space. Like, we're so content with where we're at alone that I don't want to disrupt that happiness just to say I'm with somebody.
Exactly.
And I don't feel the necessity to do so. Like,
100%.
And I don't want, like, and I think people take that, because I tried to explain this to my mom, and she's not with it, of course, because she's all about, well, I want grandbabies and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I get that. But it's not like I'm saying, like, I don't want a husband and I don't want to get married. I want all of those things. I would love to have those things, but I don't see them as a necessity, because my mental health is very important to me. And I just can't imagine living my life being miserable just to say that I'm married to somebody.
No, I totally agree with you 100%. And maybe that is a newer concept for our generation. Like, both of our moms, they were married by our age and everything like that. But I don't know. I don't know what's different about this generation, because both of our moms worked and everything too. It's not like they depended on marriage for financial stability.
Well, I think for our generation, what the key difference is that though social media has a lot of negative impacts, one thing I love about social media is that it gave voices to people who didn't normally have a voice. And one of the key people who didn't have a voice is women. And people can take that as they want. I don't really care. But no one understood kind of like the mindset of, and Tracy Ellis went into a whole thing about this that I completely love, and I suggest people listen to her TED Talk. But it's like, prior to social media, it was looked down upon for women to express or like not see as much importance in like not getting married or not having kids type of thing. Yeah. Like, that was literally the goal. Like, you could be the most successful woman in the world, you could be a millionaire, you could be Oprah Winfrey, but without having children and without being married, you weren't enough to society. And with social media, we're able to see women succeed and be happy and express that in a way that opens the eyes to people who aren't women as well, and just even to other women to say, I'm content with who I am and content with where I'm at, and I'm not married and I don't have kids, but I still am happy, and my happiness is more important to me than me seeing, Susie Q over to the left, who is married and who does have children, or even just married, but she's in a toxic relationship and is miserable for the rest of her life.
No, you're so right. I think that, like, they, even though they had women's lib and stuff back in the past and all, I feel like it was more of like a radical movement. And I feel like images like social media and media period have just made it more normal than like a radical. I feel like that I don't know. I'm curious to know, like, a statistic. Is there more people our age that are like single and pursuing more women our age that are single and pursuing a career, or more women our age that are like married with families?
And not to say they can't. I checked, because I did check that not too long ago, about a month or two ago, and it seems like women within our age group are getting married older. And what I will say is that women, like, when I look at the generations before me, at least, the women who I see who've gotten married older are happier, because they waited for a partner that made sense for them.
That makes a lot of sense. And just to clear it up, not to say that if you're married and you have a family that you can't be.
No. Not this to say that. This is specific to toxic relationships and tolerating things just to say that I have somebody.
Right, exactly.
Nobody should do that. Nobody should be forcing themselves into relationships just to say I'm in a relationship, or dealing with things that cause negative impacts on them on a regular basis in an unhealthy and toxic way just to say that I have somebody.
Absolutely. I think that sums it up like completely. Dealing with things on a regular basis that negatively impact them just, to say that they're with somebody.
I feel like we got to do an outro with Brittney Spears Toxic for this episode.
Right?
Like,
we need that.
It's just, I'm imported. I'm imported.
Okay.
It's like, it has to happen now. Like, it has to happen.
We're all gonna get our lives to it.
Yeah, like we have to get our lives. Like no more time. And I just, man, I feel motivated to buy this T-shirt now. Like,
yes, right. We need it.
I love it. No more toxic friendships. No more toxic relationships. No more toxic thoughts. Only Toxic by Brittney Spears.
Yes. Period. Y'all see us with a picture on our Instagram wearing that shirt. Probably. Yes.
Megan, where you at with this boat? Like, let's go. Let's go. Yes, I know it's fall now, but it's still hot outside. Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
So yeah, that wraps up this topic. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think that sums it up pretty well.
All right, cool. Let's end it. So, thank you so much for listening.